All right, welcome everyone to another VR Master League interview. I am your host, Trip, with the Onward shirt, and I have on my left, I have Gritter. Below me, I have Dimples, and below me adjacent, I have a whole lot of Az from the team Code North. How are you guys doing today?
Doing very well, thank you. How are you?
Doing great.
So we're just gonna start off with the important questions. And then we'll go back to the basic, team makeup. We don't care about that. What we want to know is, you just had your first league match. So you guys played in the rookie tournament, was that like a month ago? So
Yeah.
since then, how have you been practicing? Have you been doing scrims every day? Have you been playing every day? Or have you just kind of been, just playing the game? Have you been focusing on like team mechanics, capping mechanics, strategies? Or do you just kind of fly a little loose?
Grid, I'll let you take that one.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
gonna say, Gritter, this one's on you.
Yeah, so mainly most of our currently has been around restructuring a team currently because 3 of our main players from that Omar Rookie Bootcamp tournament are gone from the team. 2 have mainly quit the VRML scene, and then 1 joined another team, which we have no problem along. If they want to go for another team, we don't have a problem for that. But yeah, we have been before the VRML matchup yesterday. We had some scrims going on, but we had mainly problems around restructuring a team currently because we had 2 players leaving, and we needed to get new players and so on. So we had that problem, and time zones are always a problem. So yeah.
So you're an EU team. Are all your players EU?
Only one is not EU, and that is as from Australia.
Wait, who's from Australia?
That's me. Yeah.
Wow. There used to be some Australian teams, but they just can't play at the same time, right? It just keeps falling apart every time.
I meet, 1 or 2 Australian players in a week at best. They don't exist.
Well, when you get on at like 1 a.m. Eastern time, they're the only players on. So who it's either you're playing with the Japanese or you're playing with the Australians.
Or the Koreans.
Yeah, that's spot on.
Yeah, I feel that. So, okay, you guys didn't win the match, unfortunately. You lost. You owe me some money because I definitely lost out a few bucks on that one. But we're gonna talk about that later. But how did it go? I mean, even a loss can be a gain for your team, right? You learn every time you die.
Absolutely.
So, do you think it went well? I mean, for your first match back, obviously there were some jitters. Was there a couple of team kills on both sides, I think. So, was it stressful, or was it just you hadn't played in a while as a team, hadn't played against this team? What happened?
I think it was mainly because we hadn't been, after restructuring and everything, we haven't been playing as a team a whole lot. We certainly learned a lot during that because we learned some stuff, and we have been ever so more taking down notes of like timestamping everything, like what we did wrong, basically. So yeah.
And I'm pretty sure that you were coached by a couple of veteran Onward players. So I want to know whose idea was the pistol flashlight combo bait with the C4.
Well.
Because I've used the pistol, but I've not ever paired it with the C4 because I've never expected someone to actually shoot at the pistol on the ground.
So I don't remember exactly what VRML match was it, but I saw it one time used on the Suburbia Center House stairs mainly, and that's what I've been also using that for. But then the C4 and that flashlight trick, I just came up with that. So yeah, because I've had a lot of experience of people just shooting the flashlight immediately as they see it. So it's just like giving away the position of the player. It's either the C4 is going to give away the player, or it's going to be the flashlight. So it's just, yeah.
I mean, I have reservations about us giving away that tactic this early in the league, because it's a hell of a play. I think the entire chat when I was rewatching it was absolutely amazing. You know, everyone was shocked to see such good play. No, yeah, I was a big fan of that one. So
Yeah.
we're gonna have to start looking out for. To be honest, it's great that we've seen it this early as well. To be fair, because now we know we have to start defending against it as well. Because that will definitely be adopted into a few games in future games, I think.
Well, you know, some people are like that, right? Some people don't want to give away their strats so early, but then again, no one expects you to do something crazy like that twice, so it just might work again. You know, you never know. All right, so now that we've got that out of the way, we don't care about Onward anymore. We want to know about the team makeup, you guys' experience. So let's start from the very beginning. How did you guys get your gamer tags? Let's start with that.
Oh. You want to start with that, Dimbos?
That's right. She says I was worried everyone could hear the Hoover going around in the background, so just lowering my microphone.
Yeah.
So gamer tags.
Yeah. And why do they call you Dimples?
Oh, of course. Sorry, I'm just thinking of something totally. I years ago was trying to figure out a YouTube name. And I was playing guitar around the in-laws' house, and somebody made a passing comment going, "Look at that dimple of concentration," and I absolutely fell in love with the tag. So I adopted that into pretty much every aspect of it. So that's a very, very simple and very stupid way that I got my tag.
Yeah, it's pretty much the same, right? Everyone was like, "Look at that third nipple," and I just went with it.
Yeah, there you go.
Like,
yeah, so that's my story for how I got my tag.
Yeah,
all right.
my turn. Yeah, so you can go ahead.
So not all that long ago, I did have a different name, but let's focus on a whole lot of as. There's many stories about how I got this name. Some believe it was a rap influenced name. Some believe it's got something to do with Australia. It doesn't for either of those. I just needed a name that stood out when I was trying out for VRML teams, and you know, clearly it's worked out quite nicely. Even when you know, a caster's in the match, they'll go to say the name and they'll kind of pause. They're like, "Oh, do I say this, you know, on the stream? Am I going to get monetized? What happens here?" And I think I love it. I love showing my friends, "Hey, watch him get real uneasy just before he says my name." It's just something to stand out, something different from the average player.
I don't mind saying it on stream. The problem is it's just so long and it's a lot to say when you're trying to make shot calls. So I was just like, we're gonna call him Hole for now.
Yeah, I agree.
That's what we do.
I was like, I'm either gonna get called ass or hole
or both.
They're both gonna do just fine.
All right. I used to have a different name called. My original name was Playfin for play and finish, basically. Simple stuff. I changed that to Gridlock, but before I changed that before actually, as it available. But yeah, we had basically in Rainbow Six Siege. What happened was that a new operator got released called Gridlock, and then my name became that in that game's character basically. So yeah. And then I changed it to just Gridder, basically, for, shorten a little bit, so yeah. And that's how it came to be.
All right, so you guys have had... So these are relatively recent gamer tags then, so you haven't had them for a long time. But outside of Onward, what games do you play? Do you play flat games? Do you play other VR games? What do you do in your free time?
For me personally, sorry,
I was just gonna say, Gritter just mentioned Rainbow Six Siege. I used to be very heavily into Rainbow Six Siege. A lot of the very competitive AU and New Zealand teams and competitions I used to be really involved in just a couple of years back, but have really fallen off with them. You know, it's a much older game. but that one really holds dear to my heart, and I think a lot of Onward players really feel very similar about that game. A lot of tactics can be shared, a lot of similar feelings.
I don't know. I hate Rainbow. I hate it.
No,
I hate it.
Don't worry. I hate it myself also.
Like original Rainbow, great.
Yeah.
Siege, not great.
Siege was alright at the start, but then it became
Yeah, I agree.
Starify. So, no.
What the rest of you? You play flat games? Or is it just Onward?
Yeah.
You know, a lot of people they play Onward and they just get hooked, and then they can never go back to competitive flat gaming. At least, it just doesn't scratch that same itch, right?
I'm not into the same. Definitely not into the same amount of effort that I put in. I mean, I'll play it again as like a community thing or like a social thing. If I've got friends that are playing online and are playing different kind of games, I'll jump in with games to play to sort of socialize. But as for sinking my teeth into something competitive and actually putting concentration and effort and time into the game outside of actually playing it, like reading up on strats and call outs and things like that of other players and watching. I mean, I don't think there's any other flat game I would have played where I would have watched other teams before the match. I can't think of it. That definitely didn't happen to me before Onward. So for Onward, for me personally, was the first game that I got into this heavily into, and it's for the meantime until something better or until it advances into something more intuitive with the hardware or the software or whatever. I think I'm definitely hooked into playing the VR games. I couldn't go back to a 2D game competitively, not when you have the physical ability to actually shoot someone in the face.
Yeah, I mean, that's what a lot of the people, the original or Onward players, the reason they're still here is because nothing else scratches that itch, right? They played this and they've played. I mean, we've got Hoochie with like 6,000 hours in Onward. I've got somewhere around 2,000. We've got people all over the board, but once they start, I mean, I think the first weekend I had a good working VR PC. I played 18 hours straight of Onward.
Wow.
It was like I had to charge the controllers in the middle, but I never. Yeah, it was a long weekend, but it was fun. And the game's progressed since then. Obviously, we've got all these quest players. We've got new maps. There's a whole lot going on. Let's see, what else do I have for you? Talked about your first match. We talked about your experience, team makeup. So you have 6 players. I have 3 of you here. So what's the a lot of new teams have you've got your captain, obviously, but for a lot of our teams, the captain is more just for Discord, right? They're just there to schedule matches and make sure everything runs smoothly. And the teams sometimes have let's say like a battle commander, someone that makes their strategies and does the coordination on the battlefield. So how does that work on your team? Is Gritter just makes all the calls, or?
If I could, I'd love to answer this one. Dimples, feel free to jump in after. But Gritter, when I first joined Code North, it was blatantly obvious. Gritter was the captain. At that time, we had a different co-captain, who's now Dimples. But other than on the VRML setting, while Gritter was captain, he really was captain in the games. Without a lot of that planning prior, no way would we have as many of the wins as we had. The tactics, the communication, overall chemistry was just incredible. And a lot of that can go straight back to Gritter. Real glue of the team. Don't get a big head, Gritter. Absolutely not. But no, for Code North, our captain really is a captain's role and requires a lot of stepping up to be in that position.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'd second everything on that part. Very much coming with very little competitional knowledge in general, to be honest, and Gritter's made it very easy for me to just sink right into a position that I can start playing. Still very new. There's a lot for us to iron out. Speaking of how we start playing off each other's strengths, I still think we're still trying, even even as we saw in a couple of points of the last match, we're still trying to find ways we can complement each other in our supporting roles. But Gritter absolutely has been the captain and made it very easy for me to come in. I feel very included, which is, pretty much the most important thing I think when trying to look for a team.
So what do you do for drawing out your strats? Do you draw them up? Do you take the map and like just draw over top of it, or do you go into the game and free roam it out? How do you plan your strats?
Getting into the secrets. Oof.
we gotta keep the viewers interested. We gotta bring in the big questions.
But yeah, we used to before, at least before on Rookie Bootcamp, we went to free roam example with the old team. We went over basically that, and now that we have new players mainly to come into the team, we haven't had that time to go into free roam. We've mainly just mainly been playing together mainly, so that we can see how the other how aggressive one player is to another. So yeah, but mainly we have been drawing over the board, basically checking the spots. I'm mainly just looking at all the VRML matches that they have been playing and just taking inspiration, trying out new spots, stuff like that. So
yeah, that's a good plan. Okay, so we talk strats. What are your favorite loadouts? What do you run? Who runs what? Who's the support class? Who's the specialist? Who has that C4?
I think we all know that one.
Yeah. That was
So
obvious.
for me personally, when I'm running, I switch between the two. So with Volk, because we're defending, I've always taken it as being a more close range. So I've always gone specialist with G36C, which is pretty much all I've trained in. I am currently trying to maybe adopt another role as we get more players and we start identifying who can play right. But when we attack on Marsok, then I play as support.
Which support do you use? The box mag or the drum mags?
No, I use the drum mags. I did.
Are you a sharing is caring person?
I share
okay.
my caring person.
Ah man,
100%.
those are
It's
the
always
best
a
kind of
concern, though, 'cause
teammates.
3 people are always gagging for them. It's like, who wants them? And
See, that's
still
why
trying to work
you
out
need
who gets
two. You need two support. Or you just be like me and say, you know what? You guys picked your own classes. I'm going to take my box mags and I'm just going to go over here and just light up some tracer rounds.
Love your tracer rounds.
I love tracer rounds.
But yeah, my mainly are currently specialist. To be fair, I'm currently like a jack of all trades currently because I have to also play marksman on a team because mainly I'm the only one with the stock. So that, basically means I'm currently the only marksman currently, trying to look into a proper dedicated marksman player and then just doing specialist and rifleman. So yeah.
Which stock do you have?
Myself.
Do you have the ProTube or the Vogue stock?
Yeah, Vogue stock.
Yeah.
For usually I just like specialist. I'm not a hipster, but I think I was using the flashlight before it was cool.
Oh man.
Other than that, bulk wise, AK-12 tracer rounds, I agree. I probably don't play without them, to be honest. I can't get around the support classes. That's a Dimples dedicated talent that I just haven't mastered yet. But I really do like the specialist class. They always felt natural, and just that nice, easy movement, especially without the stock. It's just feels very versatile.
Well, if you want to run support but aren't used to the box mags or all that recoil, you could always run the M16 or the G3. I think the AK is also in the Volk one, but you get 8 mags with an M16 on support, so you have all of that ammo to suppress windows or whatnot, or hand out mags. You could even just support your team, give them extra mag each, but you still got that accuracy of a single or 3-shot burst, hollow. And I've been trying to play that more. It's just more fun.
Yeah.
So what about the rest of your team? Who do we not have here? We're missing Fitzy. How do you say this other guy's name?
Kebabsies.
Kebabsies?
Yeah.
Kebabsies. And Tango? Is that who we're missing?
Tango is one of the OGs on the team.
I was gonna say Tango's a really interesting one, especially if we're talking about support classes. No one can use a support class like he can, making it look like it's nothing. You know, moves it like it's the smallest little gun ever.
Well, go ahead.
Yeah. So mainly Fitzy and Capapsis are one of the new people, as you probably saw in the double down area where we were about to cap. Yeah, they're
we all
a
know.
lot of them are new players. They're in training. We are not going to give them too much, trouble, other than give them a few slaps and.
Hey, I mean, there's veteran players, there's master tier players they can't even cap. Okay, so don't feel too bad.
Monocap.
Oh,
I was already fried.
wow.
2 minutes in, we're fried at the top.
I'll make sure to send that directly to him after this.
I mean, we used to have a 60-year-old, dyslexic player. Basically, he could cap much more fast.
We have video evidence of that.
Oh wow. Okay, yeah. Send that in, and we'll definitely put a side by side in the interview at the end. We'll say monocap and 60-year-old dyslexic man, and we'll just, we'll duke it out. We're gonna give an award out this season. I think. I think that's a good use of our time as a creators team. We're gonna give an award out to the slowest cap of the season.
Yeah. That'll be interesting to see.
Well, I think that's it. Do you guys have anything else you want to say? I've got all my questions, and I think we've got a pretty good understanding and view into the new team Code North. And I really hope to see more of you guys in the season. I want to keep watching your games if I can. I know you guys play EU hours, so obviously that might be a little difficult. Yeah. But whenever possible, I'll try and get some casts in, because I want to see these new teams grow. I mean, the rookie boot camp is one thing, but you can agree, right? The VRML, when something's on the line, it's entirely different.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, it's a whole nother atmosphere between, because this is my first VRML match that we play with Bad Company, and yes, the thought process of how I'm, even myself, I noticed a massive change in how I'm playing. Subway was good. US Quest was bad. It seemed to me beforehand, before I was going to these matches, I was always an aggressive player, and that I'm needing to redefine how I can use that in these type of environments, because the normal state of aggression just does not work here. But Pika's advantage is a thing here, and I feel that 9 times out of 10 in those scenarios, I do come out on top. But trying to figure out for myself how I start implementing these tactics into VRML games it's going to be a very steep learning curve for me personally.
Had you guys actually played Bad Company? Have you scrimmed with them before, or was this your first time ever dealing with them? So you're just going in blind.
Besides watching, I think, one game, which they didn't even have 3 of their main roster at the moment. Playing in an old scrim match that was cast. So yeah, I had better no information besides the few comp lobbies that I'd seen English, and a few of the others like Laid Back Egg, playing against them in the comp lobbies just in general. But I had zero information other than that going them as a team.
Well, welcome to the league. As long as all these new teams make it through season 1 and don't get discouraged, even if you lose 15 weeks, even if you lose 15 games, you're going to grow as a team. So as long as you stick it out, the teams, I tell teams, when I run the boot camps, don't even worry about it. Like you might run up the ranks, you might keep getting stomped, but as long as you're enjoying yourself, you're playing as a team, you're playing with your friends, that's the real thing. We don't, it doesn't matter as long as you're having fun, right? And that's what we want to see from all these new teams. We want to see you guys have fun. We don't want to see you get stomped, but sometimes it happens. But if you come back next week swinging, then it's all good, right?
100%.
Yeah, exactly. I think once we've completed our roster, You know, really getting the chemistry going and really got a good rhythm behind us. I think there's no reason Code North can't do incredibly well this season. You've seen it before. We can see a new team doing incredibly well all over again. You know.
So you guys are looking for two. Do you want to do a plug? Age, sex, location, what class you run. You want to do a little recruitment plug real quick for your new players.
Yeah, you're 100%. Anyone that's looking for EU times, we try and train. We're trying to be on every day. At least one of us will be, so we can train again. And we want to do effectively training once a week. We're very laid back, but we want to win and we want to improve and we will be better at the game. So it's very much a case of we do want to have fun and we want to enjoy the game. And I think there's definitely a way for us to find a way where we can do that and still kick the crap out of every other team in the season, to be honest. We won't do that this season, but I definitely aspire to doing that in the future with this team. So yeah, if you want to come and join that, you want to take part in that, if you got any, you want to play in the VRML team, we're open to applications.
All right, put those applications in. This is your host, Trip, from the VR Master League interview desk with Code North. Thank you guys for taking some time out of your day to do this, and hopefully we'll see you on the battlefield soon.
Thank you very much for having us. Look forward to it.
Thank you very much.